Welcome to the instructional video for the Pilot Sensation G650. So walking around the outside, we've got the gas external locker area just located there, and the regulator just on the top to open the supply to it. This vehicle's been fitted with a gas flow system, to which we've fitted it to the actual gas locker itself. You just remove this when you want to fill it up, and that allows you then to put the correct nozzle on depending on where you are, and again just slide it back in just like so, and the other way, and that locks in place. Inside we've got a 11 kilo refillable system. To open the bottle up, you just turn the little yellow lever, and then to close it you just turn it the opposite way. You've got a little gauge on top and your regulator just there should you need that. Also supplied with the kit is the Euro and Spanish European adapters, so you can change it depending on what you need for the area that you go to. On closing it, just twist that, and all these lockers lock the same way. You have one key that goes in, turns it, and then pushes in place just like that. So click it, so twist it to open it, twist it to close it, quarter of a turn, and then press it in just like that. So they lock on all the external lockers exactly the same way. The vehicle has been fitted with the Fiamma awning. I will send you a separate video for this. And also within the vehicle you've got the awning pole and the centre rafter, which will be shown on the video that you have. The habitation door then locks in place with a retaining key just there, and we have inside then your water tank, which is just there, and I'll come to that when we move on inside the vehicle. The habitation door has a step, and there is also a label here which tells you where your waste is, but the waste has been moved to the other side of the vehicle, so I will show you where that is further on in the video. The garage door again has a retainer just to hold that in place, and two locking points in there. In the rear area here we've got a main socket and a light, and we've got the shelving units that go up and just press in place and just pull down depending on how you want to store it in that area, nice and neatly, just like that. The toilet cassette is found just below that, and to lift it up you'll see there's a little handle here. Just lift up the little prong and slide it out. Now you've got to make sure that the actual blade valve inside is closed, otherwise it won't come out, and you empty it using the actual twist off there for emptying the toilet. The two white pieces of plastic here are fridge vents that when you're using it in colder conditions will go onto the fridge vent covers just behind the door, and above there we have the awning light, which is turned on from the main control panel, and I will come onto this later in the video. So in the rear of the vehicle we've got a 2 bike rack system. This is the Fiamma bike rack, and a camera system fitted up there, which we have a monitor on inside. To the left hand side, the passenger side, we've got access to the underfloor storage again, and we have the frost protection valve. So this is the little valve here. Now in the position that we're in at the moment, just as it's set there, you will see that there's a little black nipple that's out. So that needs to be out to drain it, which will automatically release the button at the bottom. That will be draining the boiler of any water. To fill it up, you'll need to twist it, and you'll hear a click, and then you'll have to press the button in. So just like that. Now if it reaches between 4 and 6 degrees, it will automatically empty out there, so you can put your heating on until it warms up and allows you to do this. So as you see it there, as a recap, that is allowing you to use and fill up the water boiler. To empty it, just turn it and you'll hear a click out. The little nipple at the top will come out, and the little blue button at the bottom will pop out. So that's your frost protection valve. In front of that we've got your mains plug-in point, so where you plug your electric in, as we have it here. And in front of that we've got a locker area, which allows you then to gain access to the boiler should you need to do that. There's no other reason to go in here apart from if you want to change the additional filter that's been added. but there's no real reason to go in here unless you're working on the boiler. Above that is the flue. So this is for the boiler and the heater. So make sure you don't put anything on there. It does get warm and it does get quite hot. We've got the fill up for the fresh water. So undo it with the key. Choose the standard hose pipe to fill that up. And here is where the wastewater has been moved from the opposite side of the vehicle to this side. Just use the blue valve to open and close the freshwater drain, the wastewater drain. So that one is your wastewater drain. The fresh water is a little bung inside the tank, and I'll come on to that inside the van. In front of that, we've got a sliding compartment. Again, it does tell you don't exceed the weight that's on there, and this allows you to store any wet items in there. With this, make sure it's pushed in so it fits in place, and then you can lock it in place for transit, just like so. Front of that, we've got your diesel point. And then inside the cab door is where you will find the bonnet release catch for releasing access to underneath the bonnet. Underneath here, we've got your engine battery, and that's where that one's located. And underneath the passenger seat is where you'll see your toolkit is located. We've also got the passenger glove box and the airbox just located there. We've got electric window on this door, so that's where that's located, and we've got drink and storage areas to the side of it. To the front of the vehicle, we've got access to the underneath. We've got the bonnet release catch, which you'll need to release to open it up. We've got your screen wash, which is filled up just from there, and that goes into the reservoir just on the here. And then we've got accessibility down here to oil, and your dipsticks just in front of that. And then you've got accessibility on this side to your positive point, which can be found just underneath this cover here, and your negative point, which can just be hooked up either onto here or onto the actual chassis itself, should you ever need to do that. But you can go directly from the actual battery as well underneath the seats, which sometimes is easier on the A-class models. So that's the outside done. Let's move on inside. So on the inside, we've got a fly screen on the door. Just show you that, guys. So you've got the fly screen, and we've got a blind just up there, and we've got the electric step, which just retracts it and puts it out as and when you want to use that. So above it is where all your main control panels are, and I'll come on to them in a minute. But I mentioned about the fresh water, and that can be found and housed in the tank here. You have a drain which you'll need to put in the tank, and hopefully if I can show you just with the camera here. If not, I will show you on the day. I think we can just about make it out. Just down here, that's where it goes in place, and literally it's just a hole in the tank that drains the water out when you want to empty the tank, and when you want to fill it up, you'll need to put that just back in place, and the cap just back on and screwed in place there. The pump's located just behind it, should you want to know where that is as well. So let's put it all back on. So with the seat in place, you'll see you've got your two travelling seat belts, and you will remove the little plank wooden section here, which just slits onto either side of this gap for your passenger in that side seat there to have the leg room when they're travelling. Underneath here we have a large storage area which is underneath the seat, so don't forget about that when you're putting your belongings in. And the windows all have fly screens and blinds fitted to them for your privacy in an evening and to keep out the insects through the day. So let's put all the seating back together, and then you can see it all formulated as you would normally see it. So there we are, all set up for your daytime use. We have a large seat to the driver's side and the large L-shaped seat in there. The table itself will open and extend just like so. And then what we have on here is a locking point to lock the table in place, and a bar here which will lock it in the lowering position to make up the berth underneath, should you want to do that. You'll also see that on the actual table itself, if I just spin this around, and again it does spin, we have legs that need to go down when formulating that bottom berth to give the strength and support for whoever's sleeping on that area there. So in locking it in place, you'll need to remove that handle to the left hand side, or where the release position, put the legs on the floor there, and then fold over the table then for the infill cushion to sit there. Or again, if you just want the table in a lower position, this also allows you to do it in that way as well. To release it, all you need to do is pull the lever just here, and that lifts up the table back to the higher position, and then just tuck them in place out of the way. Like I say, table will orientate 360 degrees as well. Underneath the floor area here, we've got storage area. This is where we place the tyre inflation kit. And underneath this large seat here, we've got storage. So just to the right hand side, and then on the left hand side, we've got your leisure battery. We've got the main e-box, so this is where all your fuses are located for running the vehicle. And then to the side of it, your main RCD block, similar to what we have in our homes. So the trip switch is there. If you lose power, make sure that that's in place. Also fitted just in front of that is a fire extinguisher. So that can all be found there underneath that seat. So that's your main belongings and your runnings through in the vehicle. You'll also see that there's a few vents dotted around the vehicle, and that's to distribute the air evenly around the actual vehicle itself for the heating. There's also a little hammer, that's if you need to break the windows on the A-class fronts, so it's just located there for you in the emergency. And we've also got an electric mirror switch, so turn it to the side that you want it to, and use a little joystick to allow you to turn and move the mirrors, the positions, and your handbrake, which is located just there. Right, let's go on to the main control panel, and that can be found above the habitation door. So what we need to do first of all, we need to press the power to the button. So press the central button, and that will then select anything that we've previously selected on here and allow us to basically choose the options that we want. So what we'll want to do is we'll want to then navigate it by twisting this little bar, and you'll see that the lights will light up in different areas. So we've got a vehicle battery level and an engine battery level. We've got a fresh water level and a wastewater level. We've got an inside temperature and an outside temperature. The clock, just to set the time on the clock. We've got the auxiliary, so that's to work any of the actual plugs inside and some of the lights. We'll need to have that auxiliary turned on. We've got the pump, so to turn the pump on, once you put the water in, you'll need to turn the pump on and then turn the tap to the hot position. So that will need to be on, and once it goes up to pressure, it will turn itself off. So you'll hear it kicking in there and then off. So on and off. So make sure that that little light underneath is depicted, and that will tell you where the light's on and off. And then we've got lights on and lights off. Yeah, so pretty straightforward in that respect. You're navigating it through to the desired position, and to turn the unit off, you'll just need to press and hold it, and that will turn the unit off completely as well. Yeah, so just navigate through, guys. Get it to the point that you're right, and then just press it on and off. You've also got a power button to tell you that you're plugged into mains, so that's a little indicator for yourselves. So yeah, pretty straightforward really. So you'll see it turns off and turns back on. Yep. So let's put a bit of light on, and then we can see it's nice and bright anyway, but let's put some on. The control panel at the side is your Truma heating. You've got the thermostat, and then we've got the main control. So to get it going, just press and hold it, and it will flick it back onto a generic setting. First of all, what we want to do is we want to press into the options. So first one being the picture of the motorhome and the temperature. That's the temperature that we're going to want it inside the vehicle. So we set it at 16 degrees. If it's not 16 degrees in the vehicle, then this will flash above until it reaches that. Otherwise, it will just stay stationary. The next option then is your water. So again, if you've no water in the boiler, you can still use this system, but please don't go to this option and turn it on. So we've got Eco, which is a 40 degree setting, Hot, which is a 60 degree setting, and then a boost facility, which will boost all the power away from the heating to get the hot water up to temperature as quick as possible. Yeah, so 40, 60 and boost. Boost only works on one of the options, either the heating or the hot water. So again, at the minute, because I've no water in, I'm not going to put that on. The next option along then is our fuel source. So we've got 2 kilowatt electric. We've got 1 kilowatt electric. And again, all I'm doing is twisting this dial, guys. Mixture of gas and 2 kilowatt electric. Mix 1 is a mixture of gas and 1 kilowatt electric. And then we've got gas only. Always plug in your mains and turn on your gas before you're selecting one of these options, or you will get error codes that continually come onto the control panel. When you're leaving the site, turn off this control panel and then turn off gas and remove the electric before you do that. So the final option is the fan speed. So you'll see the fan is flashing there. Again, we've got 3 options: eco, which is slow, high, which is fast, and then boost, as you saw, as an option there, which will take the power away from the actual water heating and get the heating up to temperature as quick as possible. If you are wanting to equally use the water and the hot and the heating at the same time, you'll need to set your water on hot and your heating on high. Yep. We've got an indicator to tell us that we're plugged into mains, and then your other options at the bottom are timer sequences, the time if you want to set the time, and then an option for the settings. If it does come up with a warning, you can go into the setting button, turn it round until you see the reset, press it, and then press it again. And that is like rebooting your mobile phone, so it will reset the system. Hopefully get rid of the fault. If it's not, then you need to check in your handbook to what the fault is, or give us a call in the office and we'll check out what that is. But if you remember to turn your power on before you turn this unit on and turn it off before you turn the power off to this unit, then you'll find that there'll be very little problems that you'll find with this Trima system. To turn the unit off itself, press and hold the central button and it will tell you that it's going off. So through the vehicle, you'll see there's a few little switches that will turn off varying lights, both inside and outside in different locations. So just have a work out for yourself which ones do which, and then you get you familiar with that. Above here, we've got the power box for the aerial. To turn that on and off, there's a little switch on the top here, and you'll see the little blue light will go out. To turn up the strength, there's a little dial on the front here, which will turn up the strength of the unit. Once you turn the power off though, it will all go off to that unit as well. So that is your aerial in the vehicle. The fridge is a Dometic fridge, and we do have the automatic function. So we want to turn it on, and it's quite good, this one, because it lights up very bright. So you'll know it's turned on just there. Now you'll see at the minute that it's flashing. So it's flashing because it's been selected on 12 volt and checked on 12 volt, and it only works when the engine's running. If you were to flick it to gas, again it will try and search for gas, but please be aware of the gas failure fault. So if it does light and it trips out, you'll need to press this little button at the end to reset the system. The last option is electric, and you can do this manually, or in this case you can do it automatically. So I pressed the auto then, and it went and found the strongest source. In this case, because I've got no gas on and I've got no 12 volt battery, it is the electric because we're plugged in. Temperature of the unit can be adjusted by pressing that button to the desired position that you want it. Again, we've got a little freezer compartment here and the main fridge compartment just there. To turn it off, all we need to do is we need to press and hold that button, and that will turn the unit off. Underneath, we've got storage, and again, just let them click in. You'll hear quite a defined click when they're clicking in place, and make sure that these are all secured before traveling. And then again, these ones you just pinch to open, and inside here we have a little light for your belongings, and that's where we put the carpets for the vehicle. They're all loose fitting carpets that can be removed as and when you want to use it. So in the kitchen side of it, once you've got the fresh water into the actual tank, you'll want to then pull it through your boiler. You'll see that just on the edge here, you'll have hot and cold. So what we do is we turn it to hot, we turn the pump on, and we pull it through the boiler first. Pull it all through until the air goes out of the system. Once it goes out, you'll get a steady stream, and then that will allow you to go to your heating and do the hot water selection. We've got mains 12 volt and the USB charging points there, and we've got a light above here and extractor fan for when you're cooking. The cooker is a Thetford Triple X cooker. We've got both electric and gas. Electric being this one, and then the 2 gas here, and then we've got the oven grill underneath, which is controlled just by turning it to the right for the oven, for the grill, and make sure that obviously you have that open just a little bit ajar, please guys. And then your oven option is to the left hand side. Underneath that, again, we've got a couple of storage areas. Again, make sure that you're popping these in before you're travelling away. And again, another area for your belongings just in there. Same to the right of the cooker. We've got a storage area there and a utensil holder just there. So make sure that they're just pushed gently in and then locked in place. We've also got another access hatch for storage just there. And then that takes us nicely on into the bathroom area. So in the toilet, we've got your movable Dometic toilet with your flush facility, your indicator for your tank just up there. So to open and close the valve, you just open that blade valve and close the blade valve just to remove it. Just there, we've got storage units which are just pulled. So you'll see the little fit in there, just goes into the angle there. And you've got storage underneath as well. You've got well marked taps, again showing you hot and cold on both there and on the actual shower tap itself. So in the bathroom area, you'll see there's a couple of additional cushions, and they are to make up that bed option underneath. But with those out the way, we've got a large showering area, we've got a hanging rail for your towels or wet coats, and we've got a little press stud to hold the door in place when you're moving and travelling around. So nice soap holder and your bottle holder just there, and again we've got a normal shower head with a holding bracket just there. Above the toilet, we've got access to storage just above in all the areas, so nice and neat just there. And we've got a large opening roof light which has a winding handle, so that just pops out and will just wind up as and when you want and wind back down. Just unwinding it, just if you're unsure, just give it a little tap, and if you've not gone quite as far as you need to do, just give it a little bit turn, and that will just make sure it's locked in. And this comes with a fly screen and a blind on there too. We've got a couple of little coat hooks, towel hooks just there for you, and then a little rail for hanging just behind there. 2 switches can be located just in that area to turn it off separately from the rest of the vehicle. The door latches in place nice and easily there, and then we've got plenty of storage in the overhead cupboards. So again, these little just fitting ones. We've got a little one here as well, which if you press that in, that will open up to hold your glasses. Storage above the area here, and the area here. Also comes with a full pack and manuals, so that's located just in here. And the downlighters, they will turn off just there underneath the unit. So the bed itself and the front area, to gain access to it, it works on a quick release, and you just push that towards the front and the bed, the seats will come down. Same on here again, so just hold it and just press it down, and that will have the seats forward. You can do this while it's facing the living area or while it's facing the actual main cab area. To pull the bed down, you'll just need to release the little bracket from there, and then that will pull it down, and your ladders are there to gain access, which just hook onto the front here, or you can pop up from the front seat area. So nice and bright. There's a little storage area there and a little light switch that turns off there as well. Yeah. So you can leave your bedding on. So all the A classes are designed in the same way. So just lock it in place. Make sure it's secured in place with the little pushing brackets, just like that. And then you'll be away to go on your travel. You've got the cup holders. You've got the air con. We've got a multimedia system here, which will do DAB, analog, Bluetooth. And we've got the camera to the right hand side, just there on a separate unit. We've got the indicators and the lights on that side, the windscreen wipers and a trip counter on the end there. We've got some Fiat fuses that can be found just underneath there, and an adjuster with which you pull this little lever here to release it to adjust the angle of the actual steering wheel if you want it closer or further away. And to the bottom we've got speed limiter just hiding underneath there, and your cruise control as an option. We've got your 5-speed gearbox, which is just located there, and we've got the clip up map holder which just pulls towards you, and then by pulling the lever that releases the actual stays for it to go into. Press them back down and clip it in and it goes in place. On the front window you'll need to push this together and then pull it down, and that will screen off the front. And the side windows work by coming across here and simply magnetising on, and that works on both sides of the vehicles. We've got little sun visors which come down as well from both sides, so they can be found to block out the sun when it's coming in the lower position. And we've got a couple of light switches underneath which will turn off these downlighters just there and there, as and when you want to use them. But I think you'll agree, for such a little compact vehicle, it packs a lot in. We hope you've enjoyed the instructional video. We look forward to your comments, but most importantly, we look forward to you enjoying your new motorhome. Thank you.